she starts out by says, tell me. She's asking him a question. She said, I need to know something, dear bridegroom. Tell me, you whom I love. This word love in the Hebrew comes from the word, it's spelled A-H-A-B. I'm not positive of the pronunciation. I think it's ahab, something similar to that, but it means covenant love. If you've had any study at all into the Hebrew words, any teaching probably of any kind, you have heard that there's many words in the Hebrew that we just translate love. But they have many different kinds of love. This love is covenant love, which, yes, marriage is a covenant, but remember Jonathan and David were in covenant. So covenant doesn't mean marriage in this. It really is a different kind of love because it's not romantic love. It's covenant love. Because I am in covenant with you, she is saying, because of our relationship, I have some questions I need you to answer. Where do you graze your flock? Where do you take care of your flock? Where do you tend to them? Where do you give them their food? Where do you see to it that their needs are all taken care of? Not just the relationship that you found in that chamber, not just when I'm close to you, but when I'm out about of my daily life, when just everything, is just your normal daily here or there life. Where do you graze your flock? Where do you tend to them? Where do you see they're taken care of? And of course, flock are those that belong to him. Then the next thing she asks, where do you rest them at midday? Where do your flock, where do your sheep find rest? Where do they lie down in green pastures? Where do they find peace for their soul? At midday, at noonday, at the hottest part of the day, when my life is completely falling apart, when nothing has gone right, when I think I'm about ready to be committed to the mental institution, or I think I'm about ready to go get in my bed, pull the sheet up over my head, and just stay there. When life is the hottest, the hardest, the most chaotic that it can possibly be, where does your sheep find rest for their soul? You remember in Hebrews 4, 9 through 11, it speaks of the rest of the Lord. It says, there remains a Sabbath rest for the people of God. For anyone who enters God's rest also rests from his own work, just as God did from his. Let us, therefore, make every effort to enter that rest. Now, there's one translation that actually says, let us strive to enter that rest. It's almost a paradox there. We're going to strive, we're going to work at not working. It's one of the few places, in fact, it's the only place that I can think of. There might be something else that you know of, but it's the only place I've ever noticed that he told us to work at something, to strive at it. Normally it's come to him, trust him, rest in him, let him do this for you. But there he says, work at entering my rest. It's so important that we lay down our own work, our own dead works of the flesh, and strive to enter in to his rest. So she wants to know, but how do they do it? How do you find that rest? Why should I, she continues, be like one that is veiled beside the flocks of your friends? This word veil actually literally means wrapped up Why should I be wrapped up when I see your friends? What a compliment to be called the friend of God. Remember Abraham, because of his faith, because he trusted God, was called the friend of God. She sees that even though she's been in the chamber, she's heard his secrets, she's crawled up inside of him, she's addressed the religious spirit, but now as she starts to go about her day, she starts to go back to work. She starts to take care of the kids. She starts to cook the dinner and clean the house. She's wrapped up. She's in bondage. But she looks around and she sees, I see there's friends of God who aren't in bondage. Tell me, how do I get there? And he answers her in verse 8. If you do not know. It seems he's a little surprised she doesn't know, because he says, if you do not know. It's almost like he thinks, well, you know what? You've been in my chamber. I've taken you places that not all my children have been. But, okay, if you do not know, most beautiful of women, he reminds her that that word woman there is actually literally wife. So he's talking about those who've come in relationship with him. Of all the people who've come in relationship with me, you're my favorite. You're the fairest. When you step out to come in deep union, covenant relationship with him, you become his favorite. Don't ask me to explain how there can be millions that are in that relationship, and yet you are his favorite. But that's what he says. Because you have chosen to come in relationship, union relationship with me, not just to know me from afar, but to come in close. You're fairest. You're fairest among them all. But if you don't know, then follow the tracks of the sheep. Follow the footprints of the flock. What is he saying here? Well, she already told him. She already told him that I see there's friends, your friends, that aren't in the bondage that I'm in. So he's saying, that's right. That's right. And I want you to find out why they're not in that bondage.